Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Josie. Today I'm going to start the first part of my series on my work career starting when I was 8 years old. I've had a couple of requests for this, and now I will be reading a lot of it because I didn't want to miss anything, especially the very first uh, video. So bear with me. But I hope you enjoy this, and they will probably be at least 6 to 8 different videos. I'm not young, so I've worked a long time, and I'm still working. So anyway, let me read this, and then I will talk in between. Welcome to my story, a journey through a lifetime of work. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Jo, and I'm excited to bring you a brand new series where I share the story of my work life, one chapter at a time. My journey started at 8 years old on my dad's fruit ranch, where I started cutting apricots for 25 cents a box. Those big cannery boxes looked like mountains to me then, and they were the beginning of something special, my lifelong work ethics and deep appreciation for hard work. And let me tell you, those were humongous boxes. We called them cannery boxes. I don't know if they exist today and what they call them, but I got 25 cents a box. And I will go into detail a little bit. In this series, I'll take you through many jobs I've held, lessons I've learned, and the people and experiences that shaped me along the way. From the dusty orchards to later years in other roles, every step of the road has a story to tell. So pull up a chair, subscribe if you haven't already, and join me on this heartfelt walk through the decades of a working life. Let's get started. Where it all begins, a little ranch, a sharp knife, and a full box of apricots. Okay, I was hired by my dad along with many other workers. There was, if I recall, at least 6 to 10 other people cutting apricots. And they were big, you can look this up too, big trays. And each of us had a tray. And I should have looked up the footage on that. And you cut the apricot and you took the pit out, and you had a certain place to put the pit, and you had to place all these apricots. And my dad was a perfectionist about that. Your apricots had to be perfectly flat because they didn't dry as well if they weren't. And when they were dry, then he sent them to the cannery, and that's how he earned a living. And I will go into, there was other fruit on the ranch too, but I basically worked in the apricots. I didn't really work in the prunes and some of the other things. But I come from a hardworking family. My dad only had a fourth grade education. I come from an Italian background. My parents were born in this country. My grandparents were not. They came from Italy legally. My grandma eventually became a citizen. And so my parents were poor. And one thing I'm really thrilled, I learned to work. And this is how basically, other than maybe a pair of shoes or a couple of other things, I bought my school clothes with this money. I made $100. And I have that written up in another part, and I will read that to you too. So I can remember as a little girl, it was just natural for me. I mean, I didn't complain, but it took me all season, and I really can't recall, how many weeks I know, we had summer vacation. So the apricot season, I can't recall exactly how long, but it took me all season to make $100. And we had this card, and every time we got a box brought over to us, my dad would punch the card. So I was treated just like any of the other workers. But my dad was a hardworking man, and I think I learned to work from him. I won't I won't bring my mother into this, but I think I learned to work from, my dad was a very hard worker. I can remember when I woke up in the morning and I could hear my dad, the tractor. He was up as soon as it got light. He was on the tractor working. So anyway, that's how I first started. And anyway, my first episode, which is this, and I will read what I have wrote. I was just 8 years old when I started working for my daddy's fruit ranch, my job cutting apricots. Not with fancy machines like today, but with a knife, a tray, and a whole lot of determination. We got paid 25 cents for a cannery box. And let me tell you, those boxes felt bigger than me some days. Yeah, I was just a little girl. It was hot, sticky work under the summer sun, but I didn't complain. I knew why I was doing it. By the end of the season, I had made $100. And that was a lot of money back then, especially for a little girl. But that $100 wasn't just cash. That was school clothes money. Every shirt, every pair of shoes, I worked for myself, and I was proud of it. Now, fast forward all these years, I am 84 now, and look back at the time with so much gratitude. It wasn't always easy, but that built my foundation of my work today. The ranch didn't just grow fruit, it grew character, responsibility, and the pride in earning your own way. And I have to say, I wish parents nowadays would teach their kids how to work. I find that starting to work at a young age gave me responsibility, made me strong, gave me the strength when life doesn't get easy and difficulties happen. I've been able to get through them. And the pride of, I remember my mom wrote me out a check just like everyone else. And if I remember correctly, my mom might have bought me a couple of things that basically this $100. And back then, $100 went a long way, not like today. And it made me take pride in taking care of my clothes. I think, gosh, I was probably by the time I was in the 7th or 8th grade, I could launder my own clothes also. So if my mother was behind and didn't get the laundry done, I would make sure I washed my clothes. So I don't regret growing up in a poor family. I mean, I don't feel bad about that. It taught me. But this series will be quite interesting, I think, because not only being a nurse, I've had other career in my life, and I will go into that later. But I thought the best place to start was when I was 8 years old. And think about it. How many 8-year-olds nowadays? Most of them are on their iPhone, iPad. How many of them? And that wasn't cruel of my parents. It taught me. And when I look around today, and every child you go into a restaurant and every kid's got their phone, even the adults, and they don't socialize. If they're always on their phone, how many of them actually know how to work? Think about it, guys. Teach your kids. It doesn't mean you're being mean. Just teach them responsibilities. I think if I was handed, say, an easy childhood and everything was given to me, I don't think at 84 I would be still working. And it's not that I'm in perfect health, believe me, I'm not. But it gives you a determination and a pride. I've never asked for any help in my life. Maybe that's too much pride, I don't know. Anyway, if you have any questions or suggestions, I would feel honored if you would put them in the comment section or send me an email. My email's on the my email address is on the screen. And in all the different chapters that we're going to go through, I will be typing things out ahead of time so I don't miss, because I get to talking and then I forget what I really want to say. So I hope you don't mind. I will be reading some of it. But like I said, if you have any questions, I feel very blessed that I was taught how to work, and I will give that compliment to my father, who he passed away in 1993. I think he was 85, and he was a hardworking man. And a little about him, he was born with only one eye, and you could see it had never developed. One eye was completely closed. And the man, it never stopped him. He drove until the last couple of years of his life. He worked on the ranch, and eventually, when he got out of doing the ranch, he went to work for Hewlett Packard, their first computer place, in maintenance. And so his one eye never stopped him, although I know when he never knew what it was like to have two eyes. So I don't think he felt like it ever impaired him. But think about it. With one eye, he managed to do everything. It never slowed him down. The last 2 years of his life, he had to naturally give up driving. And the last year of his life, he had to go into a home. But other than that, one eye never slowed him up one bit. And he drove. I can remember we made a trip from San Jose, California to Napa, California. He drove it. So anyway, I hope you're going to enjoy this series. You're going to maybe learn a little more about me. I don't know if that's good or bad, but let me know. Anyway, thank you for watching, and God bless everyone. Bye.